How's everybody feeling today? Good. Amen. I like that response. Look, I am so glad to be here today, and I'm so glad all of you. I thought it was not robbery to come on out this morning and spend a little bit of your most precious resource with us, and that is your time. Hey, Brother Westbrook, how you doing? It's good to see so many folks here, and we are really appreciative that folks were able to come on out and be with us this morning. Listen, this small and diverse business forum is an event that we have been doing since I first got elected to the Senate. It's been, I think this is our 9th consecutive one, and we are really pleased that people come out. It is important because as we grow the pool of people that are participating in our economy, we increase the talent pool, and so we get a better product. And I think it's important to talk about that because in this current climate we have, where nationally you have people discussing expanding diversity as if somehow we are going to make our systems of business less effective. Nothing could be further from the truth. If you're expanding the pool of people from whom you're pulling from, then invariably the best talent is going to be a higher quality. If you only look at smaller and smaller slices of society, then ultimately you have less talent to choose from. And when we look at this world, and despite what some people want to think, we are participating in a global economy. Technology drives that in ways that are irreversible. We in the United States of America, the city of Philadelphia, have the ability to pull from people from almost every background, and understanding that there may be ideas that are sitting in some corner of North Philly or West Philly for some young child growing up that would change the world. And if we didn't have people in their communities that were doing business, it would be very difficult for them to see themselves in that process. So we have to be intentional about growing the pool. 50%, more than 50% of the population of humanity are women, and the idea that we don't focus on making sure that we have women-owned businesses participating as well is important. And so it is something we have always done, and normally we don't make as big a deal about it. But in this moment, when you have an administration in Washington that's actually trying to tell the University of Pennsylvania it needs to decrease the pool of people it's looking at. In this moment, when you have an administration in Washington that is talking about limiting the spectrum of people it does business with, it is important for us to affirm that we do this not just because it is the right thing to do, which it is, but it is not just the morally right thing, but it is actually good business. And standing in this room at Sullivan, because we're usually down the way at Temple, it's also important in this moment we're here because Dr. Leon Sullivan's whole mission was about making sure that we expand the pool of people that we're able to do business, that he understood that justice required, social justice required an economic component as well. And so that is part of what's happening. And then for the business people and the providers that have come out, understand that for each business person, I'm talking about the larger businesses that you'll hear from during the course of this event, they should understand, and many of them do, that it is in their best interest to pull from every portion of talent, and that they will be better because of it. That diversity is not charity; it's good business. Diversity is not something that you do that limits your capacity to succeed. It enhances it. It does not make you less competitive. It makes you more competitive. And so that's probably enough preaching for me up here this moment. But in this moment, I felt it was important to do that. I want to thank all the partners that have come out here. I want to acknowledge Aisha Richardson, my Deputy Chief of Staff, who's someplace around here, who's helped put this together. I want to thank her. I want to acknowledge the rest of my staff. I'll start calling names. I'm sure I'll miss some of them. I want to acknowledge a couple of my partners in the legislature who have joined me, I think, for pretty much every one of these things we've done, or at least their entire time in the legislature, that they've been members. Representative Parker, Darisha Parker.
Hi, everybody. Love you.
Representative Danilo Burgos is here as well.
Buen día.
And I will take the liberty of saying, doing, I think I did something to the microphone, but I will take the liberty of pointing out. Okay. All right, cool. I'll take the liberty of pointing out that each of them in their own right, even prior to becoming legislators, were moving intentionally in this space. Representative Darisha Parker ran a small business and ran a firm that worked to increase diversity, and she did that for years and has been a tireless advocate for Black, brown, and women-owned businesses in her tenure in the legislature. Representative Burgos was a founding member of the Dominican Grocers Association and has been intentional about making sure we look at diversity as well in doing business. Both of them have had as a part of their legislative record an intentionality about making sure we're diverse. Representative Burgos was when we talked about cannabis, wanted to make sure that we were diverse in not only just the millionaires that own it, but in the entire supply chain. We talk about giving out these RCAPs and for these projects that are constructed. Representative Parker has always been intentional about looking at making sure that there were diverse construction businesses participating. So I'm pleased and proud that they are here with us as well, and I'm sure they'll now have a chance to greet you in their own way.
Good morning again. My name is State Rep Darisha Parker of the 198th District, which is parts of East and West Oak Lane, Alany, Nicetown, Logan, and Germantown. I am Vice Chair of the Legislative Black Caucus. I serve on Agriculture and Rural Affairs, Aging and Older Adults, Insurance, Commerce, and Children and Youth. And why do I do that? I need everybody just to hear me and be clear. That is my job, and that is what I do, and I love, but I'm here for you. And some people get upset, but I am a real person. They have me in a church because it will be G-rated. I will not cuss today. They did that intentionally for me. But also, I tell everybody, don't get upset when I say you can't come to the government because you have a hobby. That's not shade. We fund businesses and we try to put you in the direction of being successful. It's interesting when people say millionaires. We want individuals to be billionaires and franchises and do well for generational wealth. That should not be a conversation or a hashtag. We should be able to do that. And certain times when we're in these spaces and rooms, if people aren't doing their job, because right now I know we're 100 days past and we don't have a budget. Maybe that's why I go to the hairdresser to get some color, because it's getting really upsetting right now that when you have a $54 billion budget, we need to make sure individuals that look like us in all of the areas that we use are doing well in their businesses and doing things to sustain their businesses. And I see my sister right there always shaking and nodding and telling me what to do. I am very concerned at us in this room. I'm concerned that we are not talking strategies. We're not, you're not talking to individuals of the committees that we serve on to really push to make sure that people are really opening doors for you. Meaning if you were rejected, and then I'm gonna pass it to Chairman Burgos, if you were rejected based on funding, and then you tell us 2 years later, we can't help you in that pivotal moment. It could have been something that you did not submit your taxes from certain years. It could have been something that you didn't cross your I's or whatever. We cannot help you, as I call it, in peeling the onion. We can't help you if you're not real with us. And I mean really, really, really real. Like, I need y'all to be honest. If you're scared to put your info on an email, and you should call my office, say, Rep Park, I want to meet you at a Black-owned business, of course, or Latino business. Let's have a real conversation, or invite us to your businesses. That really helps. When we really, I'm beating up the mic. When we really can see what you're doing. What's always near and dear for me is when I'm invited to sometimes our child care centers and sometimes our senior centers. I like baby because the children's humanize me. When I come in the room, they say, well, where's all the men's with the walkie-talkies? Why are you by yourself? I was like, well, dang, I guess I must. And then we start talking about government and we start talking about certain things. So I just want to say I'm here to hear from you, to assist you, and really understand your challenges. This is the time for y'all to be as brutally honest as you can about where you're hurting and where we can assist you. So thank you, and let's get ready to work.
Good morning. I am State Representative Danilo Burgos of the 197th Legislative District, literally across the street. I have the privilege to represent the communities of Feltonville, Hunting Park, Fairhill, parts of Hartford, and West Kensington. The community that I grew up in. I have the privilege of growing up in Hunting Park, and now I get to represent the community that I love and hold dear to my heart. Senator Street and your team, thank you for bringing us together. My partner in crime, Representative Parker. I am chairman of the Consumer Protection Technologies and Utilities for the House Democrats, majority House Democrats in the state of Pennsylvania. And with the energy field today, boy, have our community been left behind at all levels, from working on the pipelines, working on distribution, and turning the petroleum into energy, into fuel. And one of the things that I pride myself on is reintroducing North Philadelphia to Pennsylvania and Pennsylvania to North Philadelphia, because there's so much that our community, so much access. There's access, but there's not an intentional will to help our community, black and brown communities, obtain number one, the education, which is it's huge. Intentionally, it's easier for us to get locked up than to go to a good school. And those are the powers that we're fighting to this very day. And in this political atmosphere where you have a Republican that's holding our communities hostage, Senator Pittman specifically, Leader Pittman is holding our communities hostage.
Call our names? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And he gets to say, oh, when his community needed help, no one helped them, which is bullshit, because the southeastern Pennsylvania provides the funds to move this state. But too many of us don't understand that our power of vote is that important. Because right now our state is being held hostage by someone that is not helping your business, our entrepreneurs, move forward. Forget about the federal government. That's a whole different conversation. But nevertheless, on the brighter side, I encourage you all to don't just come here, applaud for us, but please get to know each other. Because lateral marketing and for entrepreneurs, it's amazing. It can help you grow your business 10 times fold in half of the amount of time that would normally take you to grow your business to a certain level. So within this room, I see millionaires, I see leaders from our community, but you need to talk to one another. You're not each other's competition. Our competition is ignorance. Our competition is ignorance, lack of knowledge, and being too pretty. Or being too proud. Go out and say hello to one another. Please exchange business cards or phone numbers. If you don't have a business card, your social media handle. Mine is my name. My office is here to help. Small business, as the former small business owner, bodega owner here in the city of Philadelphia, I bang my head against the wall sometimes with some of the policies that we put out on our small businesses. But nevertheless, this type of forum, thank you, Senator, for bringing us together so that we can interact with one another and learn from one another. Thank you.
Hey, Senator, real quick, as we're giving you your kudos, let me tell you what Senator Street did. And I was not forward thinking when he did this. When I was thinking about running for office, he started talking to me about committees. I was trying to figure out where my office was going to be. I wasn't even thinking that far ahead, right? He sat me down and said, you need to be on agriculture. And I got to thank you for that. By him telling me about agriculture, look what's happening to us right now in this moment. Because he showed me about how powerful and how much money we put into agriculture with that relationship and with that vision, look where we are right now. I was able to have our Secretary of Agriculture come to my district, and they were just bragging like, oh yeah, we applied for a $15,000 grant. He turned around and looked at him and said, do you understand this woman right here votes on a $54 billion budget? $15,000, you should have went to city council. When we're here, and for that moment, their eyes got open. And when I'm just telling you, when you have individuals who give you that guidance, look where we are. So I just had to personally and keep telling him, thank you for pushing me to go to ag, and I'm gonna constantly stay on ag. Thank you, Senator Street.
Look, I know we have a robust agenda. A couple things I want to acknowledge. Council member Cindy Bass, who I'm sure will be here at some point. We're in her district. She's a partner. She's always working with us. I want to acknowledge Councilman Jim Harity. I know his staff is here as well. We'll probably see him at some point. And I want to acknowledge Dr. Erica Patterson, the PA Deputy Secretary for Diversity, Inclusion, and Small Business Opportunities. And she's going to be speaking. She'll be here from her in a moment. And I also want to do one other thing, and probably not on script, and my staff will probably get irritated with me. But I got my Eagles pin on there. I see Brother Westbrook here. I'm a big fan. I know he's here as a businessman, but I'm a huge Eagles fan and was a fan of his when he was playing. So I just want to acknowledge the brother being here. And thank you all for coming out. Look, stay. There's going to be a lot of good information. And even on things that you think are not relevant to you, they are. The agricultural thing. Representative Burgos and I partnered and inserted an urban ag portion into the Pennsylvania Farm Bill. There has literally been millions of dollars, not thousands, but millions of dollars distributed through urban agriculture. There are people who have got hydroponic labs set up in their buildings that are growing microgreens, that are growing tilapia. Y'all know we like to eat the tilapia, the fish, that are making a lot of money off of this as a business. To say nothing of all the community gardens that have been helped. But there are people that are actually building businesses, selling to specialty markets, and it is a growth industry that we are participating in. And it is Pennsylvania's largest industry, and there's an urban component now that is really growing, and so you should pay attention. There are so many opportunities for folks, and even if you say, "Well, I'm not into that," if you own real estate, that could be an opportunity for you to market people. You market your real estate as an opportunity for hydroponics labs and growing. And I only point that out not to encourage everybody to jump into that field, but to say that there are opportunities in places that you may not have thought of. So let's pay attention. Thank you all so much. God bless.
So next we're going to have Dr. Patterson talk. Go ahead, Dr. Patterson.
Good morning, everyone. I was actually listening to the live, so it's kind of like a delay. But good morning, everyone. As the Senator Street mentioned, my name is the new Deputy Secretary for BDSBO, so that means the Bureau of Diversity, Inclusion, and Small Business Opportunities. We reside in the agency of Department of General Services at the Commonwealth of PA. I serve as the senior public official representing and advising the Shapiro Davis administration and the Department of General Services on statewide policies and strategies that advance diversity and inclusion and small business participation in state contracting. I lead a dynamic team in all efforts to expand opportunities for small businesses, small diverse businesses across the Commonwealth. We're all about being intentional and creating inclusive procurement pipeline. Our mission is to make inclusive procurement the standard and not the exception in the Commonwealth of PA. I felt the energy on the panel this morning, and I just have to say, use this time. It's essential for events like this. You use as a platform to build those relationships. In the climate that we are in today, collaboration is key. We cannot do this alone, and you cannot work in silos. My favorite quotes that I like to share, which is by Michael E. Dyson. He's a civil rights activist. He's also an educator and an author. He said, you meet people where they are to bring them where they need to be. I know State Rep Parker heard me say this before, but it's very essential that, again, in this climate, that we meet people where they are to bring them where they need to be. One of the things that I'm very happy and proud about in this role and also with BDSBO is that we like to show up our footprint within the Commonwealth. Doing that, we need your help. So if you are not certified or registered with the state of Pennsylvania, we encourage you today. I have my director, Rebecca Tom, there at the table for the Commonwealth of PA for our agency and our bureau representing. So you can actually learn a little bit more and collect resources and tools from her to register your business. Also at 10:30, I have the wonderful Audrey Smith, who will be speaking. She's our outreach lead, who will be speaking about how to do business with the Commonwealth. So please join us in that workshop and at the table so that you can obtain information to make you successful. We are here in the Commonwealth to support you, but also set you up for success in winning those prime or subcontracting opportunities that will benefit you and your business. Again, thank you, Senator Street, to your staff, to all distinguished guests. I truly appreciate having the opportunity to speak today and in front of all the small business and community leaders as it relates to building inclusive procurement pipelines and also ensuring that small businesses are set up for success for those contracting opportunities with the state of PA. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day and enjoy the event.
Thank you, Dr. Erica. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you all so much for coming out. It's a standing room crowd. I am so excited today. My name is Aisha Richardson. I'm Senator Street's Deputy Chief of Staff, and I'm so delighted that the folks who are here are able to participate. Just a couple of housekeeping. The bathrooms are here on the left, down the hallway. Also, make sure that you have the parking pass in your car if you're on Venango. If anybody does, unfortunately, get a ticket, I can dispute it. Just send it to, email it to me, and then I will dispute it, okay? So don't freak out. Everything will be okay. That's your government working for you, okay? So our next panel is our funders roundtable, and I want to bring up Jill Fink from the Merchants Fund. I don't know whether Michael Shore is here from DCED. I have Salim Wilson, the fabulous Salim Wilson, who's our deputy commissioner at the City of Philadelphia Department of Commerce. And I also have Crystal Spriggs from PennDOT on the Zoom. And so she's got some links for the doing business with PennDOT. So we're going to make this hybrid because unfortunately we do have this shutdown and or we have a state budget impasse, but our folks are still at work. They, unlike the federal government, and they are here working for you. So we want to make sure and give them an opportunity to share the business opportunities for you all. So if you could start with introducing yourself, tell us a little bit about what you do and what kind of opportunities you may have for some of the folks in the room. Thank you.
So good morning.
Good morning.
It's great to be here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, pull the mic up to you. Yeah.
Testing. Can you hear me now? Okay. So my name is Salim Wilson. I'm the Deputy Commerce Director for the City of Philadelphia. The Commerce Department is the economic engine for the City of Philadelphia. We work with large businesses, medium businesses, small businesses as well. My unit is the Office of Business Success. In my purview is the Mayor's Business Action Team, who is strategically placed in each council district to support small businesses from funding and obtaining resources, compliance issues, and all the above, anything dealing with businesses. I also manage the capital projects and streetscape projects, funding through the state. Work with Derisha Parker doing some streetscape projects. Also work with the Department of Community Economic Development for the state as well to get the projects funded. And one of the projects we actually working on now is the Broad Germantown and Erie project. That's one of the projects that we funded with a call to serve the local CDC in the area. And we do have a multitude of projects happening across the city within the corridors. One of the projects is 52nd Street, 52nd and Market, which is actually in design right now. We also have the nighttime economy. I'm not really sure if y'all understand that our nighttime life has been suffering a little bit for a while. So the mayor and the Commerce Department, Mayor Parker and the Commerce Department put together the nighttime economy team that actually works with businesses after 5 o'clock
Eds and Meds, hotels, all the nighttime businesses and all the people that work at night to also try to provide the same services that you have during the day. So we're actively working on that. I'm not really sure if y'all heard about the Tuesday Night Live, shame plug, where we're activating hotels Tuesday nights at Market East. Every Tuesday night we're supporting small and local Philadelphia artists to play in these hotels every Tuesday night from 6 to 9 up. It's happening until January 16th, and then we're going to look and see if we can kind of push it forward through 2026 to try to activate Market East. The other unit I manage is Commercial Corridor Improvements, and that program houses the Storefront Improvement Program, the Targeted Storefront Improvement Program, and those programs are programs set up to help small businesses reimagine what their storefronts look like. We pay up to 50% reimbursement for the storefronts, and we pay for specifically the design of the storefront and the cost of permits. The Targeted Storefront program is set up for the Department of Commerce to choose a corridor and remodel 6 stores at 100%. Right now we're actively working on 10 corridors, so we're looking to try to complete 60 within the next 12 months. We have the business security camera program, where we also pay 50% for you to install cameras on the outside of your business as well. And we have the emergency relief program. The emergency relief program is a program that we set up for small businesses who encounter issues that's directly affected with public works projects. So if your business is on the corridor and the city is coming to do, they digging up the ground, or PGW is digging up the pipes and electric, and they coming to disturb your business, and to disturb your business, we work with the Merchants Fund to give to what? Yeah, she can explain that, but the Commerce Department. The Commerce Department funds that program, so we fund the program in coordination with the Merchants Fund, and she can kind of talk more about that. So I'm happy to take any questions, after Jill explains the Merchants Fund.
Thank you, Salim. Good morning, everyone. So Salim gave a little bit of an introduction. The Merchants Fund, I'll start just by saying we are a public charity here in Philadelphia. We've been around since 1854. We will be turning 172 years old in January. And we were founded by Philadelphia merchants, small business owners, to support other small businesses during times of financial hardship. And so we continue to do that today by making grants to small businesses. We focus on very small businesses, the bodegas, corner stores, barbershops, a lot of very small restaurants, retail, but we're focused on the commercial corridors. Many of the same corridors that Salim and the Commerce Department are working on for storefront improvement and other programs are where we also focus our efforts. Our mission is to catalyze economic mobility through capital and coaching to small businesses. But we very much realize that before you can get to economic mobility, you need to be stable. And for many of our small businesses and our commercial corridors, that stabilization is the first piece, and that's where the Merchants Fund really tries to assist. So our stabilization grant program runs twice a year. An example of a stabilization grant would be that you have a broken piece of equipment that you need to operate your business, or it's not functioning properly and it's impacting the way you can operate your business. You can apply for a grant to the Merchants Fund, and we have funding available to help replace or repair that type of equipment. It could be that you have linoleum floors that are old and cracked and are tripping hazard and need to be replaced, and that would be something that you could apply for. Our emergency grant program, we're doing these emergency grants and didn't have a whole lot of money to fund them. I feel like that should be my walk-up song.
Yeah.
Right? Emergency grants. So our emergency grant program, you know, didn't have a whole lot of money, and then a few years ago, the Commerce Department partnered with us and has been funding that program now. Largely because, as Salim said, you know, there are a lot of these capital projects that are happening, you know, throughout the city. There's this bipartisan infrastructure law, right? So federal money that's coming into Philadelphia. We're an old city, young at heart, but old in infrastructure. And so we have a lot of water main breaks, right? We have a lot of bridges that need to be replaced for safety reasons. And when those water main breaks, or when those water mains need to be replaced before they break, we know that that's very disruptive to the small businesses that line the corridors where that work is happening. And the Merchants Fund, and in partnership and thanks to the funding from the Commerce Department, have funding available to help businesses weather those interruptions. We don't have enough money to make every business whole. But we do try to, again, at least help to stabilize those businesses so that you benefit from the improvements that are happening on that corridor and on that street when it's done. We want to make sure that once this work is done, you're still there and able to operate. We also provide a lot of, and I should say the emergency grants are not just for the public works, but also fires, floods, extreme acts of vandalism. Those are all qualifying events, and there's more about this on our website. And my colleague, Natalie, over there, who's waving, runs that emergency grant program and would be happy to answer questions for you as well. And then finally, like I said, it's capital, right? So it's money, and then it's also coaching. And so, you know, I was really struck by Representative Parker saying, you know, we can only help you as much as you want to help yourself, and as much as you want to share the information that we need to be able to help you, right? So there are requirements for applying for a grant. You have to be able to produce tax returns and demonstrate that you are operating legally, you have the right licenses and permits. If you don't, you might not get a grant, but we will still offer to help you, connect you with folks at the Commerce Department, at the state, with, you know, bookkeeping services. We can do some of that coaching ourselves depending on what it is, but to help you get to where you need to be. And talk about, you know, how much of your revenue are you reporting? Because those are things too that, like, there's a minimum revenue threshold to apply for a grant for the Merchants Fund. And so if you aren't reporting all of your revenue and you're below that threshold because you have a lot of money in cash, we're not snitching on you. That's your business. But like, we will talk to you about the fact that that's going to prevent you from accessing funding from us and from other organizations and agencies, right? There were a lot of small businesses during the pandemic that weren't eligible for PPP funding, and other funding as well. So we understand all the reasons why things like that happen. There's no judgment, but we want to help you get to where you need to be. We want to stabilize you, and then we want to, like, see you shoot for the moon from there. Yeah.
So I do want to also mention that Commerce has a new grant called the Catalyst Fund. And this grant is up to $50,000 per business. It is awarded based on you demonstrating need, growth, and potential for economic impact, right? So I urge you guys to, my colleague Melissa Williams over there, from my director from MBAT, can talk to you guys about that. And it's one of those programs that, you know, we actually take pride in making sure small businesses get the help that they need to grow. Because we always help the businesses that need to learn how to sustain, but we do recognize the businesses that are sustaining and just need a boosting to get to the next level of growth.
Well, thank you very much. Unfortunately, again, because of our budget impasse, our state partners are not able to show up. But if you signed in and I have your email, I will send you information about doing business with PennDOT. In addition, PennDOT has a winter hiring program. And so every June, the Senate gets an email to make recommendations about folks getting hired by PennDOT. We sent out something and only 2 people applied. One of those 2 people is going to be working for PennDOT. So if you know someone who is interested in working for PennDOT, you can email me in June, and then I'll ask you for the resume and also to fill out the application, and then our office will do the referral. So again, that's the PennDOT Winter Hiring Program. They start the recruitment in June, and then people get hired in the wintertime. The other thing, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have been kicking PennDOT behind for a very long time. So when we don't have numbers to reflect how much I'm kicking, I look like a jackpot. So I need everybody in this room. I know you got a baby, or not a baby, you got a grandchild, or somebody wants somebody's couch. I need them to start applying. And I'm gonna tell you why. These can back me up. We need the numbers. I need the bodies. I need the data. Because what'll happen is I can't justify it when we're now in budget time to say these are the African Americans that have been blocked from opportunity because y'all not doing your job at PennDOT. Now I can say that just because we black, but it helps me if I got the numbers to back me up. So I really need people to really take this time serious about when opportunities are available, because we don't want them to be in a position to take those opportunities away.
Right.
Right.
And that's what we're up against. When we don't apply, they will take it away and allocate it to Becky, John, and Sue. So I need y'all to understand what she said and take it to heart. So our phone should be flooded, and then say, we got too many people, we can't. We
Yes.
need to have those kind of
It's always better to have more. The other thing about getting into a position is you start to learn where the surplus property is. So if you have a contracting business and instead of spending $100,000 for equipment, you could spend 10 or you could spend 15. So there are lots of opportunities once you get into a PennDOT position to help you grow your business or grow the business of a family member. The other thing that I do want to mention about the Department of Community Economic Development is that we are in local share account statewide application open season. The application closes on November the 30th, and the applications have to go through the Philadelphia Industrial Development Corporation, PIDC. If you want more information about local share account and whether or not you are eligible, that's a up to $500,000 grant, and it's for capital needs. And so, yeah. Okay, so gaming. Games of Chance, there is a fund that is set up. It's called the Commonwealth Financing Agency. CFA is the benefit that goes back to the public from gaming proceeds. So CFA is the state's nonprofit organization. CFA runs a lot of programs, and I won't go into it because it's a lot, but one of the programs that's very popular is Local Share Account. It's called LSA. There's 2 LSAs. There's Philadelphia and there's statewide. Philadelphia is a little bit more strict. Statewide is a little bit more open. So statewide is run by the PIDC. It goes through PIDC because they're the nonprofit, they're the industrial development entity that can accept the money and then put it out. So you have to do your application through PIDC. Again, you guys are getting, if you're here, you're getting my emails. I'm a key, not a lock. I share information. If you have any questions about accessing these state resources, I do sit down and talk to people. I will share. I'm really proud that about $8 million in low-income housing tax credits was just announced for our district, and that means that 213 affordable housing units are going to come online. That means 47% of seniors are going to be able to be housed. 20% of them are going to be for disabled folks. These are happening in your neighborhood, but more importantly, these are jobs. These are opportunities to contract. These are opportunities to be able to not only at the tail end get housing, but be part of that construction, be part of that vibrancy that's going to be happening pretty soon in the district. So please keep in touch with me. Please keep on the list. Please register, because when you register, you go on my email list and you get all the information. So the reason why we wanted to do this today is because there's a lot going on, and it's constricting our ability to be able to do business. But we can do business with each other. We can do business when we have the information. So I'm really happy that you all are here, because it means that you're serious about what it is that you're trying to get done. And please, 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 follow up with Salim. Follow up with Jill. Nobody knew about the Merchants Fund, but the Merchants Fund has been around when shipbuilders were losing their ships and sail makers needed to be able to create their sails. So this is an affinity organization. It's an organization that's based on businesses helping each other. And what do we do best? Help each other. That's what we do best. So the Merchants Fund has codified it. We do it in informal ways, but that doesn't mean that we can't organize and make sure that we're represented in all spaces. So I want to thank you all for participating. The Commerce Department table is outside, so please take advantage of that. I think we have Audrey Smith on from Badisbo. I'm playing double duty, so I'm gonna check the Zoom to see whether Audrey is on, and then we'll continue with our program. So thank you again all for coming, and please get some coffee. I don't want to take any of this home, no food home, so get the coffee. Thank you. If we can't get the folks from Badisbo on because we're running it a little bit late, we're going to continue on with the program. And so is Citizens Bank and the Business Center and Women's Opportunity Resource Center, Lamon, if you're here, Bridget, you want to come up? And I know the Business Center is here. They may be out tabling. So we're going to get the next panel up. So Bridget, come on up. Business Center, come on up. And I'm going to go get Lamon, who's out in the hallway. And we're going to talk about financing your enterprise. All right? So really, really quickly, during the pandemic, there was a fund set up to be able to help the salons and barbershops. And millions of dollars was available. A lot of folks couldn't take advantage of it because they didn't have balance sheets. They were working with cash. They couldn't produce a profit and loss. You need to be able to make sure that you are doing your accounting, because accounting, hey, Teresa, because accounting will help you to be able to get the grants and opportunities. Your being able to keep track of your finances will help you to be able to finance your institution, your business. So balance sheets, profit and loss, reconciling your bank accounts, all of those things go to help to build credit, to build your business on paper. Because if it doesn't make sense on paper, you cannot move it forward with institutions. So Bridget, please come down. So if you could please just talk a little bit about what you do. And one of the reasons why we had Citizens here is because Citizens is one of our champions for affordable housing and talking to folks about getting into first-time homebuyer programs. With a house, you can finance your business, but you can't finance your business unless you have some capital. So if you all could talk, and I'll go get Lamon, okay? Thank you.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing today? Blessed. Thank you. Well, first and foremost, I just want to start off by thanking Ms. Richardson and Senator Street's office and all of the council members that made this event possible. Can you hear me? I see it. All right, there we go. Thank you, sir. So thank you for the organizers that made this event possible. We're thrilled to be a part of it and supporting the community. Secondly, I just want to make sure everyone just take a brief moment, give yourselves a round of applause for showing up today. So the city of Philadelphia, we have a rich history here. You know, we're the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. I love the messaging that's already been shared earlier how we're working together, we're supporting each other, and we're not competition, right? We're here to support each other. And there's a ton of resources that the city has, that this region has. And it really just comes down to that awareness piece, right? If you're not gonna know what's out there, if you're not seeking it, if you're not talking to one another, you're not gonna be able to know how you can qualify for grants, how you can have access to funding. So there's a lot of different programs and things out there that you can take advantage of, especially for the grants, because grants, that's money that you don't have to pay back, right? If you're gonna want to have funding for your business, you know, try to seek out those grants first, and then sort out the lending piece, the loan piece. But Ms. Richardson said it great as far as making sure that you have your numbers straight, you have your book straight for your funding, because if you don't have that all put together, then it's gonna make it really hard to qualify for lending. You wanna make sure that you're reaching out to resources to understand building credit, what goes into that, and how you can have better favorable terms to get lending if you know how to make your credit work for you. If you are a startup business, there's a lot of different ways that you can finance your business, that you can have programs to take advantage of as a startup. There's incredible organizations, some of which are here today, with the CDFIs, the technical assistance programs like the Business Center, a lot of great organizations that can support you on that journey. But the other piece too is, if you are a homeowner, you can leverage the equity of your property to help finance your business. You know, if you are wanting to open up something new, get into a new venture, or if you need to buy equipment, if you're owning assets, use that to your advantage, right? If you want to become a homeowner and you're not just yet, look into the first-time homebuyer programs, because there's tons of grants available for that as well. We recently had somebody actually close on a property where they only had to put $40 down because of all the grants that they took advantage of. So if you have questions about that first-time homebuyer process, we have phenomenal people on our staff. Our secret sauce here at Citizens is that